The 90s? Did you love YTV? Yeah, you did. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to You, Me, and YTV. I'm your host, Ryan Stick, and it's been a minute since we did a show, but we have to do a show today because today's a monumental day, not only for the show, not only in my life, but in the life of not myself, but my partner in crime. For the first time ever, I would like to welcome on the show. She's done interviews with her former castmates, but never has actually been on the show one-on-one with me before. And I'm looking extremely forward to doing this. We didn't advertise this because we decided to do it at the last possible second. Please welcome to the show, Melissa Galianos of Radioactive. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Hey, so what the question on everyone's mind, which is no one yet because they're just joining in, is, we've been together 10 years today.
That's right.
Exactly.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Yes. Today, I asked you 10 years ago, all those years ago, if you wanted to go to the local sock hop and do the Macarena. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes. With great, great tenderness. Indeed. It was a beautiful day, and I still cherish it very much and always will.
Hey, Yannick's watching you saying happy anniversary.
Hi,
Thank you very much, Yannick.
Happy birthday, Saber.
Happy birthday, Saber. That's even more important. You know what? That's why we actually got together. We heard a kid was going to be born in like 2 years. And we're like, okay, this day, it's going to be pretty cool. But let's not do it on his birthday. Let's do it the day before.
There you go. Exactly.
Oh, and sock hop, exactly. We did the Macarena, and we did a bunch of other date things. We actually were playing with our pagers, absolutely, 10 years ago.
And our Tamagotchis. Remember that?
Yes.
I never had one, but I know they were hot news. And Pokemons.
And we used to get into battles on the schoolyard with Pokemon and would use Sugar Ray CDs as collateral if they didn't.
Sugar Ray.
If they didn't. Murphy Cargus of Sugar Ray, by the way, has an amazing YouTube channel. Look up Murphy Cargus, and he goes through the history of all Sugar Ray songs, the bass lines, and it tells stories about it. He's actually been on my other show, the Ryan Stick Show, once, and he's an absolute awesome guy. So all the love to Murphy Cargus.
You just reminded me of a joke from one of the Comedy Central roasts where Pete Davidson goes up and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys know Ludacris is here. You guys know Ludacris from your mom's That's What I Call Music CD."
Oh my goodness. Do you remember? Okay. You know, here we are. Like, we could talk about how we met, but we could also talk about why we met again. You know, like, and it involved social media, getting tagged in the same picture. It was an unflattering picture of both of us. Like, you were in fluffs, you looked a little bored, and I was off to the side doing this.
But, no, you were doing this. You're doing this. So I think people need context, though. We should tell them how we met.
Okay. I was hanging out in a bar with my friends Barney, Marshall, and Lily.
Oh, God, no.
When this girl walked in who did the weather.
No, we met in, I think it was September 4th, 2011. Because the band Pennywise came to Montreal and they were performing at Metropolis. And the lead singer at the time was a man named Zoli. He was, during that period of time, he was their lead singer. And he wanted there to be tabling done for Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. So like Save the Whales and, you know, all this stuff. Hi, Fox. Fox is trying to play with Ryan.
Yep, the dog is trying to ruin everything. The camera was shaking and everything. It was hilarious. Boy. Yeah,
he demands attention.
It's espionage. It's what it is. Yeah.
So, anyways, I was contacted by Bob Timmons, who is Artist for the Ocean, I believe, on Instagram. And he was the one handling he was the coordinator, basically, from Sea Shepherd that was in charge of coordinating this tabling done in Toronto. And for the Montreal show, he had asked me to come and table for Sea Shepherd, and I did. And it was great. And then Zoli invited myself on the tour bus along with Bob as well. And I was totally happy to go because my friends Julie and Chuck were there as well.
Okay, you are just giving so much detail, Dickens. Just get to the point where you meet moi.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just going to continue telling the story how I want to tell it. So Chuck was the drummer for the opening band. So it was like really nice and fine. There was nothing weird is what I'm saying. So I was comfortable going. And there's Ryan on the bus.
And I was Pennywise's court jester.
Yeah, he was just sitting on the bus because you knew the band. And
I entertained them from time to time. You know, they thought I was funny. I did a lot of voices. And their drummer Byron would call me Beavis. You know, I'm convinced he doesn't know my real name to this day. But, you know. Yeah. Anyway.
And see, I am not a Beavis and Butthead fan.
No. In fact, you've almost like thrown up while I was watching it.
Yeah,
like
I can't watch that show if you're watching it, which is pretty much never. But if while eating, I'll throw up. I don't know what it is. I just have a gag reflex with that show.
Nice choice of words, former child show star.
Okay, yeah, because actual children, actual 3-year-olds are watching this.
They were in the 90s, Melissa.
Oh my goodness.
They live in a parallel dimension.
They're watching SpongeBob and Paw Patrol.
They can't age. They're in the Phantom Zone.
Okay. So anyways, Ryan was doing all these dumb impressions. I'm sorry. They were excellent. They were really good. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm 30 years old. I want to go home. I'm too old to be here. Like, this is not, I feel so out of place. And who's this guy? Like, who's this kid in front of me? Like, doing all these impressions. I want to go home.
Yeah, you referred to me later as Uncle Joey.
Yeah, I was like, who's this guy? Like Uncle Joey from Full House. So I finally was like, I had to wake up a little bit. So I go, oh yeah, I can do an impression too. And you said, oh, sorry. Oh, okay. What is it? And I said, I assume
it sucked because, you know, I'm like, you're very beautiful. So I'm assuming that people in your life were just kind of like, you're like, hey, this is my impression of Kid Rock. Hi, I'm Kid Rock. And everyone's like, ah! And I'm like, yeah, okay, you think you're good at voices? Let's see how good at voices this girl is, whoever this girl is. Hot girl. Because every time I see a hot girl, I assume she hates me. So I pre-hate her first because I'm mature like that.
Thanks, honey. And I did Eric Cartman's mother, and he thought it was actually good. And then months later,
I was stunned by how good it was. No, I was baffled. Like, I can remember a few things in my life. One of them involves getting told I have illness by doctors.
Oh, God.
And one of them is your voice impression, which was completely the opposite of what the other feeling was. So my world was forever shattered by the amount of talent you had for this one impression. And then you did like other ones. And it was just like, you know, if you want to give them a little taste of how you took my breath away.
I asked you to feed me the first line and say, Mom, Ben Affleck is in my bed.
Yeah, Mom, Ben Affleck in my bed.
No, looks like the Tooth Fairy was extra happy with you.
And I was like,
and you were just like,
because I wasn't expecting. I was like, what? And so it went on from there, and then we were at Fouf's later and stuff like that. Fouf's is a bar in Montreal, ladies and gentlemen, and Fouf's is not your scene, like at all.
No, not at all.
It was my stomping ground in my early 20s, late teens.
Well, because I was 30 at that point, and I
was not.
I grew up pretty sheltered. I never really consumed a lot of alcohol, or not that you have to if you go to Fouf's by any means, but I just didn't know a lot about music. I wasn't very cool. And I felt I'm 30. I'm too old to be here. Who are all these cool kids? I'm not cool enough to be here.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like getting a little drunk, and I'm like, she looks good. So anyhow, we went away into the night without
not together.
Not together, because you know, I was coming to the end of a 6-year relationship at that point.
Mm-hmm. And Ryan never made any move whatsoever that night. Just.
No. When I see a pretty girl, I'm paralyzed with fear, and
there was no phone number exchange, nothing. It wasn't until months later when you were single,
and we got tagged in that photo.
Yeah, we were tagged in a photo by somebody, and
then we realized we're neighbors.
We realized we lived close to each other, and you had messaged me saying, "Oh, hi, you know, I didn't realize you live around here. If ever you want, we can watch a movie. Don't be freaked out. Like, I have a lot of friends that are actually girls," which is true. And I looked at I looked at who's writing me, and I was like, who? The blonde hair? Is that kid? Is that kid from the bus? Like that 22-year-old? What does he want with me?
Please stop calling me kid.
I thought you were like 22, and I was like, he's way too young for me, and blah, 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 blah. Like, the last person I was not dating, but hanging. The last person I was interested in before you was 24, and I felt like, ugh, 24, ugh, oh, it's a little young there. And I was 30.
I guess the cartoon impressions that were already out of date back then must have given you slight hope that I was older than I seemed. I wasn't just doing like SpongeBob SquarePants, which I can, by the way.
Yeah, SpongeBob has been popular for a long time.
Yeah, a really long time, actually. All right, so anyway, we eventually made up again and started a friendship. And what's funny is wanted to bring up our friend Lucas.
My best friend Lucas.
We were asked before by Zakiel, I hope I'm saying that right. Ryan, did you watch Radioactive before you met Melissa? And did you recognize her the first time you saw her? The answer is no, because I was at an age where when Radioactive was on TV, I was becoming a teen, and unless teenagers in shows were drunk or pregnant, I wasn't interested. I had moved on to, Freaks and Geeks and Degrassi, even though it was older, but just subject content and kids and just stuff that was like shaking to your core, like, yeah, you're a teen now, here's the real world. And Radioactive, God bless it, is for kind of like 11, 10, 13-year-olds who were like looking forward to high school. And this was a fairy tale version of the fun and goofiness that high school can bring out in you, especially when you're that age. But I was like 14 at the time, so I was just like, no. Give me the drugs and pregnancy. So anyhow, so our friend Lucas, he was there with you, and it just so happened that I went over to come do a little visit, and Lucas was there, and he's like, oh yeah, Melissa's been on television. I'm like, oh really? What show? It's like Radioactive. I'm like, Radioactive? Is that show from YTV? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm meeting a person from YTV? Because at that point I hadn't met Phil yet in Student Bodies and all that stuff. That comes later.
Yeah.
So are you used to people kind of recognizing you from YTV at all?
Not really. It happened a couple of times at my old job at the airport. And I'm always shocked by, oh, right, it would be adults that recognize me. Right, not teenagers, because teenagers don't know what that is now. But, I had someone at a coffee shop. She actually got her friend to call out my name to see if I'd turn around, and I did. And he goes, "Oh, it was for her. Sorry." And she says, "I used to watch you on TV," so it was really nice.
Aww.
A couple people, not many. Yeah.
So I immediately, Googled the show afterwards, and it was the Daydream episode, which is exceptionally over the top.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like still remembering my love and my fond memories of teen angst shows. I was like, oh yeah, right. This is why I never watched this back in the day. But all my friends that are kind of like 3 to 4 years younger than me, which, let's face it, when you're a teenager and you're 10 years old and 14 years old, is like 50 years.
Yeah.
So all my younger friends were like, the girl from Radioactive. Oh my God. Shout out to Jess K and Lindsay. And,
oh my God, Jess K and Lindsay. Hi.
Yeah. So anyhow, it was kind of funny to like.
Jess K is vegan vacationista on Instagram. Just had to put that out there.
I'm such a talented musician.
She's amazing. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it was kind of interesting to like know someone in the YTV world, because up at that point it was this untouchable like. The legendary Canadian broadcast, like they keep all the people who start on YTV underground in pods, and they're not allowed to interact with the public. So eventually, I don't know, I think we were together like, we getting together, it was a few months later, we became friends first, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we hung out together, but probably the first time I went, this is like maybe the third time we hung out. Watched a movie. Okay, watched another movie. Then you invited me to go see you play a show at Crowbar. And you were on stage. And I just remember seeing you on stage doing what you're good at in your environment. All these people like that you're friends with, and you're clearly such a good guy. And I remember watching you on stage thinking, oh my God, this guy he's fine he doesn't need me at all. Like he's gone out and found stuff that he's good at, and he's doing stuff that he loves. And I just thought that was so, and of course you looked so dreamy on stage. And
well, thank you very much. I figured this was kind of like a pre-midlife crisis where you're thinking this will really piss off my dad, but like, you know, 15 years too late.
No, my dad loves Ryan, and so do my brothers for that matter. My mom loved him a lot. Oh, so much. So then I was like, I think I'm falling in love with this person. So I became all insecure. Like if other girls were, I'd be like,
yes, they were not at all paid or placed to make you feel that way.
I was like super suspicious of other girls. I'm like, everyone here wants to sleep with you.
Well, that's because they were me wearing wigs with projected holograms, like a Scooby-Doo mystery ploy. Yeah. Okay, so, that's very. I'm sure this is a joke, but Zakil is saying, I had no friends, so Radioactive was like my friends. I was like 14 watching it, and I'm 31 still watching it.
That is so nice. Thank you so much for saying that. And I don't have many friends either. And
sorry, the camera was on me. I was like, I'm getting used to the new system.
No, I don't have very many friends myself. And the ones I do have, I treasure very, very much. And don't worry about it. You're fine. You're fine. As long as you're a good person, and clearly you are. If you're watching Radioactive.
They're saying you, and I just put it back on me by accident. It's like, clearly you are.
And clearly Ryan is.
Okay.
You're all there reflecting.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't read these before we go live, so I hope no one's swearing. All right. Honestly, I only ever got to watch Radioactive proper here on YouTube because I was too young to remember watching a full episode. But Morgan's far and away my favorite so far. She's flipping nuts.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're flipping nuts, dude.
I love it. Thank you. I don't know what to say. It's been such a long time since I've visited that character.
Yeah, it's true. I think I've made you say hello, fellow prisoners, like on a few like joke skits or something like that. But
somewhere. Yeah. Well, the people on that show were just, you couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with. Like that was for sure. That's why I have such fond memories, because it was just such a great job to have. It was fun working with everybody. So there's that. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
All right. So, question. The show itself. Question for the show itself. What on the dream list of YTV people and talent would you like to interview for the show? The answer is we've done it. We've done almost everyone. I would love to have Sugar Lynn on the show because she was a pivotal part of the changing of the guard, you could say. Like Phil and Snit and Paul, that was really my time. But to everybody else in the Radioactive times and stuff like that, that was kind of like the new early 2000s. Like Carlos and Sugar were definitely a vital part to the viewership of all the Friends. And just because I wasn't watching it as much back then does not make me think that that time doesn't matter. And I want to make sure that we cover as much ground as possible and also give as much credit and love to the all eras of YTV that deserve so, because frankly, I'm not sure why, but Canada really doesn't celebrate our own that much. Like when I was a kid, I thought the only famous bands in the world were like Alanis Morissette and Bare Naked Ladies. I didn't realize there was billions of Canadian bands that were Canadian that I didn't know were Canadian, and including voice talent. Like the X-Men were all from Toronto. Same thing with Sailor Moon. And Beast Wars was all recorded in Vancouver. If you told all this to an insecure Canadian kid, that is just like, dude, everything you love is made in your own country.
I'd like to see you interview that kid from Squawk Box.
Oh, I tried Dove. Yeah, I tried a few years ago.
His name is Dove?
Yeah.
Oh, man, because that kid was in Tommy Boy. It was Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy.
So he had a scene with Chris Farley. He's the one that says, when Chris Farley's out on the boat there with the girl from Doc Hollywood, Julie Warner. Doc Hollywood's another one of my favorite movies. And the kid goes, yeah, you should lose a couple 100 pounds. Bloop. And Chris Farley gets up in the rowboat and he's like, you better pray to the God of skinny wieners that this wind doesn't pick up because I will blah, blah, blah.
And shove an oar up your ass.
And then they still don't care. They're still laughing. Ooh. So then Julie Warner gets up and she goes, listen, you little spazoids. I know where you live and I've seen where you sleep. I swear to God on everything holy, your mothers will cry when they see what I've done to you. Then they run off.
Why we hung out, actually.
Yeah,
that was first time.
First movie we saw together.
Yeah, I got to say that to Dove. I'm like, you introduced me to my practical wife. It's just like, technically, because when I got to your house and we were all hanging out with Lucas, God love you. You're both delightful, beautiful people who really like to talk about being vegan. And I assumed you guys were in some. So I was being punked, and I walked into some kind of morning show. And frankly, I was just kind of like, wow, they really like to talk about it. But then you brought up, oh yeah, no, Tommy Boy's like the best movie ever, and I was like, and for the first time since you did the South Park thing, I was like, brr. And you're like, yeah, and I really love Norm Macdonald.
I do love Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty and the random Simpson references for no reason at all, because I do voices. That's how met Pennywise to begin with and all that.
Yeah.
And I've been around people where when I did a voice, they're like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, oh no, my powers.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
There's so much source material. God.
All right. Getting a comment right now. Squawk Box was hilarious. I'll never forget. And Nick. Oh, that is a long last name. Oh,
I was like, my brother, Nick?
I'm not going to bill Burr at the Grammys. No, not going to even attempt. Talking about the bird poo. It's just like, you know, and that's super funny. I just remember the most I remember about Squawk Box. I saw a few episodes, but I'll never forget the advertisement for when Squawk Box was coming out for the first time. And you see like Dove being like all Hollywood and stuff like that. And he's just like, yeah, hey mom, drive around the block again. And I'm like, wow, he can say that? Because at that point, everything someone says on television, even if it's ironic or parody, is fiction. And it is fact, I should say, not fiction. Yeah. So I thought that kid was cool. I've always wanted to interview Dove.
I mean, yeah, he met and worked with Chris Farley right away. I'm sold. I want to know everything about everything with that.
Because, you know, Chris Farley's not the type of guy to go run off in his trailer once the boat comes back on the shore. I wouldn't be surprised if he chased them down.
And you know the movie Black Sheep? Who was in the movie Black Sheep is the guy who played Pugsley Addams in the Addams Family movies.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Really?
He's in the group of kids that Chris Farley goes to buy beer for. And then the paparazzi guy that's trying to slander his senator, Chris Farley's brother, is running for governor. And so people keep trying to film Chris Farley, you know, like to make his brother look bad and stuff for politics. So he goes and he sees these little kids drinking next to a convenience store, and he's like, oh, and they're smoking pot. So then he takes the joint and he acts like an idiot to kind of dissuade them from doing it. But the paparazzi guy just films him going, smoking doobin' up and doobin' doo. And then the kids are loving it. But it's like terrible to visuals.
Yeah, and then the photo in the paper is just Chris Farley going like,
yeah, it's just him. It's bad optics, and it gets worse too. Like we won't even get into the concert that he goes to.
Well, the movie gets worse too because it's not Tommy Boy, but you know,
it's still amazing. I still love Black Sheep. I love Tommy Boy, but I do also love Black Sheep. I mean, David Spade with Chris Farley. Yes, please.
Yeah. All right. So, Dylan Smith is saying, "Hey, Ryan and Melissa, happy 10th anniversary. Happy decade anniversary. I've never thought of it as a decade before."
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a decade. Time flies.
Yeah. 10 years. Well, time does fly, but at the same time, I feel like we evolved, you know?
Yeah.
Like we used to be Ryan and Melissa, Mighty Morphin Ryan and Melissa, and then we became Ryan and Melissa Zeo. And then we had our movie version, of course, and then Ryan and Melissa Turbo. Things got a little dark after that.
I'm so lost right now. My cat's breath smells like cat food.
Exactly. Anyway, if anybody out there has questions for Melissa here or myself, ask us. We got some cake to cut in a little bit, but I want to stay on the air just a little bit longer. And my dog's freaking out. So, Mel, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When, back in the day, there was no social media. And frankly, besides advertisements on YTV, the channel showing the episode, when was the first time that anybody actually ever really started to notice that, oh, you're from that show? Because I know John Carlo with the spiky blonde hair.
It was ridiculous.
Was a little bit more like eye-catching because not a zillion people had spiky blonde hair.
His face is so unique. I've never been recognized anywhere except a couple years ago at the airport. Like that's literally it. But when we were doing the show, I was never getting recognized ever, but John Carlo was, because his face is just so so unique. Like I always felt like mine was just, oh, I look like a million different basic white girl brunettes or something. I shouldn't say it like that. Like it's not a nice thing to say.
What you
But
need
I just
is
thought that I
what
looked.
you need is a toe growing out of your forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nay, no such luck. I suppose. I'm kidding.
All right, we having our question. Is Melissa, did you ever try out for Fries with that, or maybe any other YTV shows?
Did I try out for Fries with that? Maybe I did. I don't remember if I did, to be honest. But it wouldn't surprise me that I did audition for it. Wouldn't surprise me. But Giancarlo got it, and I just remember being both jealous but incredibly happy for him that right as soon as Radioactive was done, he landed another show, and they did like a couple years with that too. So I was really happy for him. Like, man, way to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But you were on another show. You're on an episode called The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, right?
Yes, I did one episode of that. And I did one episode of Seriously Weird, which is the show that Lucinda got right after Radioactive. And so that was really cool, too, that she had landed another series. And everybody went on to do other things. And I did kind of here and there, but then I just kind of took an all-out break. And I was working regular jobs for a while.
Of course. I'm being asked right now, Ryan, have you ever interviewed Wink Yahoo, the host of Uh-Oh? I tried to. I tried to reach out, but he's very busy. And frankly, there's a lot of people I've reached out to, and they politely said it's just not the time. And like sometimes during a pandemic, you're just not in a headspace where you kind of want to talk about this kind of stuff. And we got to give all the respect to everybody in the world. No one has to be interviewed.
Is the show You Can't Do That on Television YTV?
Yeah, really old YTV.
That was a good show. I used to love that show.
You know what sucks? I missed out on interviewing Mom and a few of the cast members at Ottawa Comic Con a few years ago.
Yeah, where didn't she come around here recently? And I used to have a crush on Chris Bickford. He was one of my first earliest childhood crushes. Was Chris Bickford.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chris Bickford sounds like a made-up name. I'm so glad it's real.
No, because he kind of reminded me of Rudy from the Monster Squad, who was like a serious crush of mine. And then it was Christian Slater. And then it was, who was my other big crush? Anyways, mainly Christian Slater and Rudy growing up. And I got to speak to Rudy in real life.
Yeah, on the Ryan Stick Show. If you want to check out our Monster Squad episode.
Oh, yeah.
We have two episodes. We have one extremely, insanely long but great one with Andre Gower. And then he came back and we did an hour with him and Ryan. And it was absolutely awesome. That was last Halloween.
Yeah, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that happened. And he sang me happy birthday. I'm just like, to this day, I have to remind myself that happened. That's real.
That's kind of funny. Like a lot of people would feel the same way about you, Giancarlo, Ryan, and the other cast. You know, it's all the perception of the generation. You know, like who was your? So you were mentioning Chris Bickford from You Can't Do That on Television. But who are other like what TV crushes you would say that could have come from the YTV channel?
That could have come from the YTV channel. Oh, I don't know about YTV. I didn't really watch any. Chris Bickford is the only one I can really remember.
But the programming changed a lot, like later on. Like I think like when you were 12 or 13, like when Are You Afraid of the Dark really started to kick off and stuff like that. I was younger, you know, so when I was like 9, 10, 11, like that's the programming I started to remember. But you didn't watch Power Rangers and stuff like that. You're a little too old.
No. But it's not YTV, but I had a crush on Dean Cain from Lois and Clark.
I had a big crush on Alex Mack.
I bet you
did.
did.
But every guy I know did.
Yeah.
Like she turned us into a puddle. Like who would have thought?
Oh God. That's what she did, eh? She turned shit into puddles.
Yeah,
Excuse me for the language.
And zap things.
Yes.
You know, she shocked me and made me turn into a puddle.
But see, was that even YTV? Because I remember seeing that in all the teen magazines. She was all over the teen magazines, but her show was like
it was
a US
American show that they broadcasted on YTV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So fun fact, apparently Are You Afraid of the Dark was not a YTV show. It was a Nickelodeon show that YTV originally rejected. I found that out because DJ McHale, I should say, he did a post. He answered someone's question about that. Okay. And I was just like, they rejected it. Like, and then came back. This Halloween, I would love to interview DJ McHale, the creator the creator of Are You Afraid of the Dark. That'd be absolutely awesome because
It
he
would be.
probably remembers so much detail about the how and why and all that other stuff. But Ross Hall has
I love
been on the
Ross
show.
Hall. Who
a few
doesn't
times.
love? Who the heck doesn't love Ross Hall? Nobody. That's who.
Let's talk for a second about you being on Student Bodies because that's like that's like a in a world of the Marvel universe where you kind of see, he's in this movie, he's in
That
this
was
movie.
so fun because the show was on the air already. Like I had already seen, I was watching the show. I was like, of course I'm going to watch this show. And to be on it it was really, really fun because like it's like you're walking into the television, It's like, oh, I know this from television. And to hear the director would the way he would direct would be, okay, so we're doing this and we cut to cartoon of so-and-so and he's mowing the lawn and then something breaks. Okay, coming back to live action. He was really engaging.
ML, say hi to Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
He says, hello, radioactive star. That's so
Oh,
nice.
That's so nice.
Hey, we got more questions here. I'm going to read these. And hopefully they're not terrible because I'm not reading them before I just put them up.
Okay.
Ron Burgundy reads everything on the teleprompter.
Are we live right now?
Yes, I'm rusty on your videos, but have you interviewed Danny Smith from Big Wolf and It's Alive?
Oh, he's good.
Real hard to find a ladder online, but I'd love to sketch him as the devil. Had a crush on Merton too. No, I have not interviewed anybody from Big Wolf on Campus or It's Alive, and I would absolutely love to. I thought Big Wolf on Campus was what they managed to do with a budget like that, and how cool it was. Victoria Sanchez, our buddy, she was on
Victoria, love her so much.
She was on an episode as Medusa.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that have been fun if you got to like go on that show or something like that, play like a witch or something?
I would love to work with Victoria. Love, 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 love her. She's seriously one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. And she's just such a warm, kind, amazing person. And I know no one's asking me to tell all this, but I can't help it. What was I going to say about Big Wolf on Campus? The one who played the little sister, Merton Dingle's sister, that's Natalie Vanzier. I forget her name on the show, but one who played his little sister. I met her and worked with her on this movie Dancing on the Moon that she did. I played her big sister. And I think
and that's directed by Kit Hood, who founded Degrassi Junior High.
Wow. I didn't even know that he had done that. That's amazing. But I do remember it was
I would
Kit
have
Hood.
asked him to sign my tits. Not you. It would be weird, but if I did,
Yeah.
jumping out of the DeLorean and say, Kit, please.
Please.
All right, sorry.
I played her sister. One of my scenes got cut. I think you only see me at the very, very beginning of the movie. But and she's a darling as well. She's really, really great, Natalie. And that was in 1996, summer 1996.
Andrew is asking, how's Vanessa from Radioactive and Stickin' and Glee? How's Vanessa? Well, we did an interview. You and I did an interview with Vanessa Lanchis on this very channel. You can see it on YouTube and Facebook. And definitely, Andrew, if you're a fan of that, watch that. But how about you just describe Vanessa to the audience?
Vanessa, I've never had a sister in my life, obviously.
No.
In my life. I've never had a sister. And
nor a brother in a dress.
No, but I have two brothers, which they're amazing. But Vanessa, getting cast to play, like I'd played a sister in a show in a movie before, but like consistently for 3 years, it was like I would look at her and I would feel on set, I would feel like that's my sister. I felt this connection to her. Like it was really something. And Vanessa's just, the thing about her is that she was kind of at a period in her life where she was growing. She was going through some really pivotal years and she every day, like she never complained. She had the best attitude. She was the most delightful ray of sunshine to have around. And when we did the interview with her last year, she was like the same. It was like I saw her yesterday. It's really one of those things where we haven't talked in years, not for any reason, just because, she went on and did all these awesome things. And like, we've been living our lives. And then you reconnect and it's like, oh my gosh, like you're that same person. Like you haven't changed. You're still that essence, of an absolute sweetheart of a human being. And
sorry, the dog.
And we had texted after she had messaged me after she said, "That was really nice. I'm really glad we did this. Let's keep in touch." And I was like, "Totally, let's keep in touch." And maybe when all this COVID stuff is kind of simmering down, which it's going down.
Yeah,
I really look
great
forward
to
to
do like
seeing
an
her.
in-person one.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of other comments and stuff like that. Jenny Watson saying hi.
Jenny Watson. Hey, Jenny Watson. Hello. Yeah. Take that, Jenny Watson.
Awesome. Okay, so non-person human, great name. Oh, hey, it's been a while. Says my kiddies still watch YTV. Can't wait for the Patrick Star Show. Oh, is that like the Patrick? Oh, from SpongeBob, I guess, right?
Oh, is that who that is?
My favorite SpongeBob line, like SpongeBob is just funny. He just goes,
Hey, Gary, no!
But Patrick said, he's like, hey, SpongeBob, are you gonna listen to a big idiot, or are you gonna listen to me?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I love that.
That's adorable.
That's hilarious. Okay, so here's another one. Have you guys interviewed the people from Dark Oracle? That was Canadian. Epic Show watched that before Radioactive. Have not even heard of Dark Oracle. I gotta check that out. The fans of YTV, not our fans, I don't have fans, but the fans of YTV that I siphon, in general, tell me about such cool shows. Like they told me about a show called Shadow Raiders, had never heard of it. By the way, some interesting stuff might be happening with some of the cast of Doghouse.
Okay.
Doghouse, you know where the guy's a cop and him and the dog switch brains?
Oh no, I don't know that show.
And then the cop doesn't make it, but the uncle who is a cop is now in the dog, and when the dog's there, you hear, the human voice and stuff like that.
Okay.
Been working on getting some of those cast members. So crossing my fingers, might have heard something back from one or two of them. Crossing fingers. You never know.
Cool.
You never know. Ryan Lint.
Hi Ryan. Isn't he's the one that has all the episodes on YouTube?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. I look back at that and now I can show that to my family, younger members of my family. I thank you so much, because I look forward to showing that to them.
He says, happy anniversary too. I remember back in 2011, as I was posting the Radioactive episodes a little bit at a time, when you requested to me meat versus potatoes. Yep, that was me, dude. I totally requested that to you because I'm like, hey, Melissa really would like to see that, because that's kind of the episode they wrote for her.
Yeah, Morgan goes vegan in that episode.
In time, just for Melissa's birthday, just thought you'd bring that up. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. What a darling. That's so kind.
That's when your personality was really showing through the character, I find.
I think so, yeah, because by then they had gotten to know the actors a little more, and they were just starting to incorporate little things of our personalities into the episodes.
All right, Andrew's asking, how would you want to bring Radioactive back in theory? Fan cast, not fan casted, but fan theory. You could write whatever you want. Budget's not an issue. What would you do if you were to bring Radioactive back now?
Oh, easy. I would keep the same set, and then the students would come back, and they would somehow all, through whatever journey they went through in their lives up to that point, they would all end up as the faculty.
All right, cool.
And it would just be
and the
like,
new students
oh my God.
The new students would mock you relentlessly based on the analog.
It would be a different dynamic, and watching the new students doing the radio and how it's all modern and how we used to do this and this and this, and like we didn't even press the right buttons when we were in there. We just pressed anything, and I'm sure people have seen that's not how you shut off this and da da da. But now everything's all digital and, computer, laptops and everything. So even through the phone, people can run amazing shows. So it'd be nice to see how modernized Upper Redwood High has become with social media and everything.
It is upper Redwood High now.
Yeah. There'd be a lot
or lower Redwood High, after the flood.
Yeah. I mean, you could introduce like more modern things like selfies and GoFundMes and stuff.
Jenny Watson is saying, Melissa, your voice is beautiful.
Thank you,
Congrats
Jenny
again
Watson.
To you too.
Thank you.
Oh, and a big hi to Bernadette.
Hi, Bernadette.
She shares the show. I'm convinced the only reason why we have any views at all is because Bernadette shares the show on so many groups and stuff. So thank you very much. Okay. Okay. So we got a few more, and then we gotta go outside, and it's cake time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, Ryan, just scratching the surface. There's still a ton of gems in the era of 2030. Okay. Bernadette is saying, have you interviewed Richard Ian Cox from Inuyasha? No, but I did interview David Kay,
Yes,
who I didn't even realize was Inuyasha, and I could barely pronounce Inuyasha because I know him from Beast Wars. He plays Megatron, but he's got a very prominent role in the Inuyasha new episodes that are being made right now. It's crazy. The dog is going
He's
nuts.
really wanting your attention,
Yeah,
Daddy.
he is just ruining the show. It's
He's
awesome.
not ruining it. He's uppity. He wants to go outside and hang out with us.
Okay, there is a YTV show that is considered lost media these days, a Herman's Head outside the kind of thing of mental block. Jody Rester from Are You Afraid of the Dark was on it, and only 2 episodes have been found. Mental block, I know a guy who I will not name last names because I'm sure he doesn't want me to, but I know a guy who was in a band that I played shows with, and he was one of the stars of Mental Block. And it's about these 4 teenagers that kind of like live in this kid's head and discuss the feelings and anger and, problems he's going. And by committee, they're all like, how do we solve this? We're getting grounded. And it's it's really funny, but it was really funny to see him on screen doing that because I just knew him as the on-stage guy. I'm like, oh, that guy's really funny. Like a teenager in a great band. And then I saw him on TV and I was like, oh my God. And then I brought it up to him like, dude, would you ever be on the show about that? And he gave me a faraway look in his eye. Like, also I know that I've never had on the show. Have you guys ever watched Prank Patrol? Andre, the host of Prank Patrol, as me and him go back a little ways.
Okay.
And that would be really cool. There's this whole generation, like I said, when I turned 16, 17, 18, I just want to see drugs and pregnancy of YTV shows that are not bad. They're just, I just wasn't watching at that time. So I definitely want to cover more stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you're great at what you do, honey.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It should be noted, though, that, you would think that you'd be my first interview, but I wanted to approach this as not kind of like this is only happening because he's
You've asked me lots
boyfriend.
Of times. We did an interview together once, and I made you not air it because I had cat hair all over my shirt. It was like a black shirt. I probably have cat hair on me now, but now I'm just like, I literally don't even care right now. And I put all this makeup on because we're going to go take pictures outside for our 10-year anniversary. So I'm like, okay, I can totally do your You Mean Why TV show.
So we need a YTV cinematic universe where all the characters can meet and interact. I agree. I was joking with Mick Perlis from
Mick Perlis.
from Student Bodies.
Yeah, he's great.
Wonderful guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was joking with him about it. I'm just like, it would have been amazing to see some sort of crossover with the Student Bodies gang and a Radioactive gang. And
well, the closest you can get is your birthday video.
That's true. In my birthday video last year,
April 18th of last year,
when pandemic was like new and so very frightening, I'm a social butterfly, and I have birthday parties that would rival Puff Daddy if he had the dollar store of a budget. If he had a budget of a dollar store like I do. Anyhow, so it was really weird to not celebrate my birthday obnoxiously for 3 days, surrounded by many people. And Melissa called up a bunch of friends and family and made me this birthday video in the style of a sitcom. But what she did was she had this entire block where it was all these Student Bodies friends and all these Radioactive friends.
It was all a surprise. Jessica Goldapple, who plays Flash, was like the first one. And her clip that she sent, I'm like, you can send me literally anything, just doing some random thing. And then you pretend to notice the camera and then give a smile like, oh, hey. And then hold that so I can put your name like into the start of a sitcom, And so she's on this motorcycle with this horse mask on, and she takes the horse mask off and does this like movie star hair shake. And then you kind of realize who it is. And we taped Ryan's reaction video, and he was just like, oh my God, Jessica. And like, that was your favorite part.
Well, yeah, because Jessica Goldapple is like my favorite character on that show.
Yeah. But like after Jessica, all of a sudden, there's a dude chopping wood, and like it's Mick Perlis, and there's Ross Hall, and there's Jamie Ellman's there, and you were but I had intercut it with Victoria was there, and there's Giancarlo,
And then Ryan Wilner.
Wilner was there. Wilner was so cute. So it was really this nice little bouncing back and forth. So I'm really grateful to Giancarlo and to Ryan, my God, for giving us those videos, and to the cast of Student Bodies, and of course to everyone that sent clips, like friends. Ryan's like day one friends and your family, and it was a really sweet video.
We were being asked, I'm like, would we go to like Fan Expo in Toronto and stuff like that? I got to tell you, I've been to Fan Expo once as a fan, just want to go. And then I went to host the Student Bodies reunion.
Yeah.
That was one of the highlights of my life. In fact, actually, I'm going to put the camera on you for a second. Here, tell that joke,
When I told my friends that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, they all just looked at me and they just laughed. Well, now I am a stand-up comedian. Nobody's laughing now.
Oh,
you laugh, but that's my favorite joke. I tell it in French and in English. That joke made it into the Joker trailer with Joaquin Phoenix. So literally.
The funny thing about the Student Bodies kids is that they're all like nice Canadian. They're all nice Canadian people, and the very idea of selling autographs was alien to them. They like I work amongst Comic Cons and stuff like that, and I totally I get the culture of autograph buying. But to them, they're like, who's going to want to buy our autographs? And I had to talk them up with the price of autographs. I'm like, no, if you're all signing something, it has to kind of be this much, or the photo has to be this much.
They're humble folks.
Yeah, they're very humble. And when they were all, it was after a few interviews, I think they did with BuzzFeed or something like that.
Entertainment, ET Canada.
ET Canada as well. We all went to this like cafe for kind of like a lunch thing, and they were all signing the stuff to pre-sign for Fan Expo in case there was a large influx of people. And also later on, unbeknownst to us, they told us we could have a room for an hour maybe after the panel. Who knows? There's a big Star Trek thing. We don't know if anyone's going to show up. You could watch the video yourselves of the documentary of the weekend, seeing everybody hug themselves for the first time. I'm bringing all this up because Melissa edited it.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you're a wedding videographer and you know how to get the most emotion out of a moment. And I'm like, I'm going to edit this kind of like just some dude. You're going to edit this like it's the emotional, tear-jerking, impactful moment that all these fans have been waiting for. Much like, a wedding day or a birthday or something like that. And what you brought to it was absolutely amazing. So if you ever see the the Student Bodies reunion at Fan Expo video, Melissa edited that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, honey.
And when we were all at a kind of a cafe and they were pre-signing stuff, they passed me one of these things. So this is a full cast autograph.
That's beautiful.
Autograph set of the Student Bodies gang. And it was kind of funny how I told them, I'm like, you can't just charge $20 for this.
No, my gosh, that's ridiculous.
I know. Trying to convince Canadian, humble, beautiful, talented people that they're worth $1 million.
That show was the Friends of Canada.
I know.
It was literally the Friends of Canada.
Okay, so, we got a lot of questions here and stuff like that. All right, and we're gonna have to wrap up soon because Melissa's dream is for us to set up a nice thing outside. We're gonna be cutting a cake, and we're gonna have a nice romantic dinner.
We're gonna watch The Addams Family.
We're going to eat spaghetti at the same time and chew on the same noodle before awkwardly realizing that we're screaming at each other.
No, we already had dinner. Ryan bought us Indian food, vegan Indian food. Thank you, honey.
I did.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so would we go to Fan Expo? Honestly, right now, I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I'm living in June, and June is a different thing. It's a different beast, and we'll see what the summer heads up. Okay, Ryan Lint is saying, have you ever heard of a YTV show called Deepwater Black? Yes, I have. Absolutely. And it has that guy, and I know, and he's an actor, and he's amazing, and he ended up on Andromeda. And he was the original host before Nicholas Pickles of Video and Arcade Top 10. It's just the name. His facts on the back of his baseball card apparently are not lost on me, but his name at the second is. But yes, I've heard of Deepwater Black. Very cool. A virus wiping out humanity. Seems to be a common thing. It seems to be like people were warning us for years
Yeah.
for science fiction.
It's true.
Okay, love the nostalgia your channel. Love the nostalgia of your channel. I'm shocked that you could get these interviews. What's your secret? Well, Melissa, much like our romance, it required a lot of begging on your end. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, I don't know, politeness and Melissa. I think what happened was I asked Ross Hall, and because I knew Melissa on Facebook already, he realized I wasn't insane. I think that helped.
Maybe.
You didn't have to message him or anything like that.
I never messaged him. No. But
I don't think any guests I've ever gotten as because you've messaged him, actually. In fact, I would like to thank Lee from Comico, a great comic book store in Montreal, for actually reaching out to Vanessa on my behalf. And Vanessa, being the nice person she is, responded that way, actually.
She's a darling.
Yep. You having fun?
I am.
Ah, cool. Okay, love the radioreactive union. Oh, would love a radioactive reunion at Fan Expo or Anime North. I would totally like to be there first. You know what? Honestly, if we ever do a radioactive reunion, I'm gonna say it would probably be Montreal or Ottawa Comic Con, especially because the show was shot in Montreal and all the friends and family are from Montreal and the cast, and it would just be kind of easier to get everybody together.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and we're almost out of questions. You looking forward to that, Cake Mill?
Well, I'm looking forward to, it's vegan tiramisu, y'all.
Well, we got to go decorate the yard too. We're going to make it look
because
cool.
we want to have a nice I especially want to have a nice picture.
Nice.
Like a staged 1960s wedding kind of picture.
Here's a good question and a relevant question, actually. And the answer is no, not yet. But did you guys ever interview the new Addams Family TV show cast?
No.
I would love to interview Wednesday. She seemed like a really natural actress, you know?
Yeah, she seems very good.
And the Morticia and the Addams, this was an Addams Family show that really said to themselves, we want to redo, not the movies, we want to redo the 60s show. And even Uncle Fester talked the same way. But our plans later tonight, actually, is we're going to be watching the Addams Family CGI movie that came about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We love all things Addams Family. Our
do.
house looks like Halloween 9 months of the year, I'd say.
I think that's a correct assessment.
All right. So, Dylan, thank you very much. He says, enjoy your night and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, Dylan.
Oh, cool. It's like I have Morticia's email if you need. Yes, we do. Just make sure she's real, okay? There's a thing where people say they are and they're not. So, yeah. All right. Cool. So, without further ado, thank you very much for stopping by You, Me, and YTV. We have brand new technology with this video switcher, so we're going to be doing more interviews in person the more the world isn't as scary, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're going to provide more content and have more fun. We might even bring back some old friends and people that we had on the show but interviewed through Zoom. It would be really nice to do live interviews in person and further interact with the audience, because I think that's what this is all about. At first, You, Me, and YTV was about me interviewing people and getting some information, but since we were able to broadcast, now it's about delivering the same type of appreciation and fandom directly live to the person, such as yourself, from the audience that watched and adored you.
Thank you, honey. And if you guys want some more Ryan, you're going to be hosting an online auction tomorrow night. Every Friday night, Ryan hosts an auction for Captain Quebec. And every Sunday night, I host a speed sale for Captain Quebec. So if you guys like comic books or superheroes, then let your friends know. And it's I usually post about it on my Instagram, right before we go on. So it's Sundays at 7 or 8? 8 p.m. on Sundays. I will be in this chair or that chair where Ryan's sitting.
Yeah, and it'll have effects. I just haven't realized how to do the effects and the video switch yet.
Yeah, so we're usually around for Capitaine Quebec and Montreal Comic Con, Ottawa Comic Con events like that. Virtual auctions.
Awesome. That's Captain Quebec on Facebook. Please join us if you want. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching You, Me, and YTV. This has been the Ryan and Melissa anniversary special. What a night it was. It's been an hour. Can you believe?
Wow.
What a fast hour. Time flies. Time flies when you're, when you have bright lights in your eyes and it's disorienting.
Yes, it's very true.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. See you next time.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.